Hey guys, this is Ray with DRP Motorsports again. In today's video, we are going to make a pull on our Dynojet chassis dyno with our 2020 Shelby GT500. This car is all stock except for a stainless works catback exhaust system. Factory cats is still under the car. The engine is completely stock. Even the calibration in the car is still 100% Ford. Have not flashed this car. So we're going to make a baseline pull today on our chassis dyno, which is a Dynojet 224 LC with load control. We've got not what we believe is 93 octane fuel in the tank. You don't always know, guys. Just because it says 93 on the pump does not necessarily mean that it's 93, but we're going to data log it while we're making the pull to make sure everything looks like it does have 93 octane going through the engine. But we're going to make a baseline pull today so that we've got some frame of reference for future mods for this car. Nothing new to see a 2020 GT500 on a chassis dyno. They make anywhere from high 600s to low 700s depending on the dyno and the fuel that's in the car and the atmospheric conditions. As far as that goes today, it's pretty cool. It's between 55 and 60 in the shop. The DA is around negative 250 feet, so it's good air. It's good and cool. There's a little bit of humidity. It has been raining, but shouldn't be too big of a factor here. So we've got good air. Hopefully we got good gasoline in the tank and we'll be able to make a clean pull. We can get a baseline number on this car and we'll go from there. All right guys, we are inside our 2020 GT500 and I've got my data logger started with HP tuners and we're going to data log this car on the baseline pull here, and we're just data logging to keep a reference for other dyno pulls as far as coolant temperature, knock retard, time in advance, so on and so forth. Just kind of monitor things as it goes. Like I mentioned before, we're running on Ford's factory calibration, and Ford done a good job with the calibration on these cars. These cars are able to take anywhere from 87, 89 octane fuel. I wouldn't go any less than 89 octane in a car like this, but lower octane fuel all the way up to 93 octane, and adjust the timing accordingly to make sure it's running at peak performance given the fuel that's in the tank. And like I mentioned before, we should have roughly 93 octane fuel in the tank, and we're going to make a baseline pull on our Dynojet. I'm going to run 10% load on the dyno because most vehicles this day and time are torque based with fuel and timing controls, and a little bit of load while it's making a pull helps it run its best. So we're warming on up. We're going to get it up about 185, 190 degrees and make our pull. So let's get it in gear. We're going to run in manual mode, and with this Tremec 7-speed dual clutch transmission, we'll be making our pull in 4th gear because that's the closest gear to a 1-to-1 ratio. Gears 5, 6, and 7 are actually all overdrives in this particular transmission. So let's get at it. We'll start a pull around 2,000 RPMs. All right, we'll up the temperature. Let's go. All right. That was our pull. All the way to the factory rev limit. Go back and look at the log on our dyno pull. Look good. Went on up to about 17 degrees, which is about what it should be if it's not seeing any knock. So that looks good. Let's see what kind of power it made. All right, guys, I don't know if you can see that or not. Hopefully you can. She made 680 rear wheel horsepower, a little over 7,000 RPMs. Max torque was 585 foot-pounds, a little over 4,000 RPMs. For you guys that are real technical about the dyno readout, I use the gear ratio RPM calculation. So it actually revved out over 7,000 RPMs, and that's where peak power was made with the factory rev limiter, but this is only showing at 7,000 RPMs, so it was a little bit off as far as reading the RPMs, but everything looked good. That's about what we expect for a bone stock GT500 with 93 octane fuel in the factory calibration. I think the next step for this car to add power and not have to tune this car is to change out this factory intake with one from JLT. We're going to probably put a JLT cold air intake on this car. Other cars have run that intake and picked up significant power gains from what I've seen and heard by just installing it. And we'll do another video with that installed and see what kind of difference that makes. As always, thank you guys for following along. God bless each and every one of you, and we'll see you again soon.